All right, good morning. Welcome to Commissioners Court amended session, October 21st. We have a full quorum present. Carrie, you certified the meeting was properly posted.
Yes, sir.
If you'll please stand for prayer and pledges.
Father, we call briefly this morning to speak you in Commissioners Court. We ask, Lord, for the wisdom that the commissioners and judge will make decisions for the residents of Walker County. Father, we thank you for their service and all that they do, and all the departments that are represented here today. Father, I want to cast out a prayer that Jesus taught us, and it says in Matthew chapter 6 and verse 9, that after this manner pray ye, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Father, we oftentimes repeat that prayer and not really take it to heart, but Father, I want to focus on that we ask for your kingdom to come. Father, that you'll set up your kingdom as it is in heaven. Father, we just pray, Lord, that we'll all take serious your word and apply it to our lives. We thank you for all that you give us and all that you do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United
States
States,
of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Hold on, y'all, with his knees. All that what we got in, that's it. We'll be all right.
I didn't get any citizens input for agenda items. Consent agenda contains 20 items.
Pull 4, please.
20.
And 18, 4, 20, and 18.
I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda, removing 4, 18, and 20.
Moving second, all in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Number 4, approve claims and invoices submitted for payments.
Commissioner, on page 20 of 47, we paid Park Law Firm for a tax suit. Thought that was Purdue. Done all our tax suits for us.
we normally do, let me call it.
And then on page 30 of 47, a Wiesner bill. I think that's actually Bill. Probably explain that one.
That was a deer had a very bad day.
Okay, we did too then, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, insurance, we paid the 1,000 and then the insurance
Okay.
covered the rest.
all right, that's all I've got.
And I have one that's on page 4. ECQ, counseling fee. You have no idea what it is?
I've asked that question for Andy. Those council fees,
Every time we issue a permit on the on-site wastewater system, we're required by statute to send $10 to the state.
Okay, I see it per every month.
So it's based on the number of permits we issued previously.
I got you.
see, I knew who to go to, because I
Yeah,
asked the same question.
I figured it was him, but I didn't know. First time I paid attention to it. That's all I did.
All right,
I'll make a motion, we accept claims and invoice.
second,
All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Number 18, approved proclamation 2025-09 honoring first responders for National First Responders Day. That'll be my motion.
second.
Moving second, all in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Now I'll read it. Proclamation 2025-09 honoring first responders, whereas the citizens of Walker County recognize first responders providing valuable service through their assistance to the citizens of the communities during times of needs and crisis. And whereas they respond to emergencies without hesitation when the call of duty arises and tirelessly gives their time and energy in humanitarian efforts, making themselves available every hour of the day, every day of the year. And whereas responders have physical strength, stamina, extensive training, courage, and selfless concerns for the welfare of others. And whereas first responders are professional and volunteers who dedicate their lives to public service and whose skills often make the difference between life and death. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the duties and service that firefighters, rescue squads, members, and first responders perform by observing not only today, but every day. Now, therefore, the Commissioners Court of Walker County and all residents of the Walker County honor and appreciate our first responders and thank them for their service. On this day, 21st of October, 2024.
Miss Linda, y'all are doing something on the gazebo, right?
You want to come tell us about it? Invite everybody?
It will be our fourth annual first responders event. It will be next Monday, the 28th at the gazebo. We got approval for that about a month ago. It'll be at 10 a.m. and we have invited the sheriff's office, the city, the Sam Houston Police, EMS, all of the volunteer fire departments and Huntsville Fire Department and Waverly. So they will all be there with the demo and the constables and Butch's department. Will present them a bag of goodies. That's the Republican Party and the Republican women.
We appreciate y'all sponsoring that for them.
I was waiting on y'all. I'm standing, you want in front, behind?
Stand behind.
All right. Oh, I like that. We'll swat one.
That's okay. It won't be the first time we'll miss
Hold
it.
Yeah, it's coming.
There we go.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
What you got?
I got it.
All right.
Every
Thank
time,
you.
every time I print one of these and I look at it, I
Pardon me?
say, one of these days I'm gonna teach Ronnie to smile. I haven't got there yet.
Hey, you'll get there. You keep on along that way.
So on another note, as you know, today we started early voting. We had 38,955 registered voters. As of 8:44, we had 261 people already voted.
Already there?
Right.
That's
So, vote.
Yes. All right, number 20, approved to ratify documents establishing account with First National Bank and other contracts, agreements with third parties related to services for use with EMS, MC ambulance billing service company.
Judge, I was asked to pull this by our EMS chief. Do we have her?
I'm here. So I just wanted to have this for a discussion. I just want it to be pretty clear that we're not needing any amendments to the contract at all. We're just kind of working through building our SOPs for the billing company, which means they're kind of tailoring their processes to what the department needs. These payer portals here, the county has had access to these since we did in-house billing. It was brought up that they might be considered a contract. They're not contracts. This is what the billing company will work through to do things like verify eligibility and benefits for patients that they're billing, prior authorization. They'll see if their deductibles have been paid. They have to have these portals to work through so that they can bill our patients. But there's no contract associated with them. So I just want to make sure that we're not holding up any processes moving forward by bringing things back to court unnecessarily. Is just kind of what I wanted to clarify.
Yeah. I'm the one that asked to put that on the agenda. There are numerous signatures that are required to various websites and vendors. None that appear to have any money associated with them. But this was to avoid having to bring anything back to court. It was to give a blanket approval. And then there are signatures required on setting up the bank accounts. I do not agree with Rachel in that there will be no addendums to the contract. There's going to be a standard operating procedure, most of which are operating procedures, but included in that standard operating procedure is the rates and the write-off policy, and they are reviewing both the rates and the write-off policies that they may or may not make recommendations to. But I do think the rates and write-offs need to flow through board.
Yes, those will definitely come back for approval before we send them to the billing company, because we don't want to get started and then a couple months down the road have to change the way we're doing something. So those will be coming back probably on the next court. But they're not, it's not a change to the current contract that we have in place at all. That's a change to our internal policies here at the county. We just send it to them and they implement it in our SOPs.
Right, the procedures, yes, the rates and write-off,
Okay,
and that would be an addendum.
so separating those from this,
Exactly.
this will be,
And this is setting up the account
Yeah.
for the
and as
money to be
Rachel
deposited
said,
into.
all these listed on these first pages are portals that both Rachel, both EMS and EMSNC will use to transfer.
Both the accounts have been set up with First National. It is our account.
It is our account, yes. Amy went through the normal process to do that, and it requires, of course, her signature and my signature.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
okay, I'll make the motion to approve agenda item 20 as presented.
Second.
Move second, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. Number 21, update on freezer room remodel.
Where are we at, Miss Stacy?
Pictures, so y'all can see, and you'll remember what it looked like.
Yeah, I
It changed
remember.
over the years. So the freezer room is complete. One of the things that, they did is we did have to widen one of the doors, get our freezer in, because I cracked my hand when it fell on me getting it out, so we had to open that door up to get it back in. But it turned out really great and it's working well. The next project for us will be to the restrooms that we've already showed y'all and talked that before, in the laundry room. So those are gonna happen hopefully before the end of the year, or first part of next year. But the one thing that's missing in here is when we did this, we took out the old fire alarm system after y'all voted on that. But no fire alarm has been put back yet. So we just need to know where that stands, because I understood, I wasn't in court when that happened. I think my brother had passed away, but that was voted on, that was gonna happen. So I'm just trying to follow up.
I think that's the agenda item below us a little bit.
Yeah,
Isn't
it's
it?
23.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got done with, we're done with freezer room.
Yep.
22, discuss and take action on restroom and laundry room remodels. Done?
No action
Yep.
required.
I just did that too.
No,
Yeah.
it does say discuss and take action on.
Yeah.
So Stacy, are y'all still gonna put are you trying to do away with the doors, just like y'all talked about before?
Yes.
Okay.
One door, so the,
Have the petitions.
yes. Well, we will still have partitions in the restroom, but what's gonna happen, is we'll open a door for the men's room on the outside door wall now, and where the door is now will be closed in.
Mhm.
So that, the women are coming in this hallway and the men are coming on this side. So that's the only structure, and it's just a doorway. The rest of it will be changing out the flooring, painting, things like that.
Okay.
So no,
And
No action?
none of that falls under y'all. We have that covered, so it's just your approval.
So you have the funding to do it.
We do.
All right.
Yay, look at us.
I'm proud of it.
we'll say no action on 22. 23, discuss fire alarm installation.
Guess that would be Larry again. Larry, you mind giving us another update? Since it was,
We are waiting for the final new floor footprint to be established, so we get the correct size sensors and everything in there.
okay, so basically the remodel needs to be done, what we're saying.
We're ready to move forward at that point, but we need to know what that new footprint's gonna be.
Okay. So that's kind of,
Well, we're not adding any square footage, so that.
You
No,
change-
but you're shutting.
You're
off
changing
the door.
doorways.
We have to know where that's gonna be, and I definitely need to get with you and decide where you want all of your alarms put. How many? That's gonna be a deciding factor on the cost.
So you just need to know where the door is going to be.
I need to come and get a floor plan from you, and we need to pinpoint where you want all of your sensors, fire alarms.
The door doesn't have to be built.
Just passed.
Well,
I mean, just as long as I know where it's gonna be. Perfect.
if you're gonna do that, you probably need to get with Chief Mathis and see, make sure it's all gonna pass, I would assume, huh?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Y'all all three work together, get that going. Okay. All right, we'll move to number 24. Discuss and take action on USDA U.S. Forest Service Community Wildfire Defense Grant, round 3.
We were contacted by, Homer References Grant, we got Mr. Doggett wanted to bring a presentation to court, and I think Mr. Coleman's on Zoom. Hey,
Not,
Anybody have it?
he's on.
Am I on mute? Hold on a
There
second.
you
Sorry
go.
about that. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good. Really, I just wanted to tune in. This grant is available. The actual specifics of the grant haven't been dropped yet by the USDA, but we anticipate that happening yet this month or the first part of November. The grant itself, I'd answer any questions y'all might have about it, but essentially it funds boots on the ground to implement y'all's wildfire prevention plan. Typically it's a 5-year grant cycle and allows up to $10 million that would fund personnel, equipment, and then a monitoring program to kind of over time monitor where areas have been adjusted, what needs the next set of work to happen, and kind of a tool to implement your plan moving forward.
Yeah, not knowing much about it, other than basically what he just said there, I wanted to just get approval from the court to have Butch pursue this grant. And when it comes through, we can use it, we'll use it, and if not, we won't. So my motion is going to be approved. Agenda item 24, authorizing the Walker County OEM office to apply for the USDA Forest Service Community Wildfire Defense Grant.
Second. Moved in second, all in favor, raise your hand.
He also told us any equipment that's purchased through the grant, or the grant solar county keeps the equipment.
I like that too.
We'll still have to wait on.
Keep an eye out.
See what it is.
yeah, don't we need a maintainer to control the fire with?
I bet you do. That'd be like 6-wheel drive. Maybe 8.
So we're at 25, discuss and take action on the purchase of 2 ambulances delivered under an order of intent made in fiscal year 2024. One to be paid from contingency funds available from the fiscal year 2024 budget, and one to be funded from LATCF Revenue Sharing Fund at the cost of $295,900 each.
So last year, during budget workshops and everything, we were told to get on whatever list we could for ambulances. So I put us on a list with Frazier, a letter of intent for 2 ambulances. One of them was supposed to be for budget year last year. So that truck, it's the one that should be here next summer, but it's now pushed out to October of next year. But there's also a second truck on that letter of intent as well. I put it on there for future planning. If we approve both of these trucks on this letter of intent, it'll give us 2 brand new trucks this time next year, which will then give us 5 brand new trucks to our fleet. Out of the 8 trucks that the county owns, excluding the ESPP trucks, all but 2 meet the requirements to be replaced either for age or mileage, and most of them it's for both. Our mileage is really high, our trucks are really old. So I'd like to get to the point where we have brand new trucks, and then next year start talking about remounting the used ones that we just bought. Would be kind of our plan moving forward.
So I guess we've set this aside already in the other budget, is that right? Or did I hear you?
Budgeted funds last year for a new ambulance that we didn't ever touch. The 3 used trucks we got were out of contingency, and then the funding that had been set aside for the Riverside Station.
So that funding's there, right?
The contingency in last year that was set aside, the $500,000 contingency, what is remaining in that contingency would fund one of the trucks.
One.
And then we have the LACTF funds that is available for the second one that was included on the letter.
It'd be nice to have,
Funds available.
it'd be nice to have the 5, to pull one, to have it remounted. You have to have something take its place. And we're kind of
We'd
right.
Be back at the end of the line if we went that route, so we'd be probably 18 months out.
We've done a lot, and I think like this is like, to me, it's like the last piece of the puzzle here to get us to where we want to be as far as starting to drop these in, have realistic trucks to remount. The funding's there. I'm gonna make the motion. We approve agenda item 25. as presented.
Are we fixing to get the ones we ordered?
We're gonna get 2 in December. Those were purchased.
Oh, this
with
year.
ARP funds, yes, sir. Back in 2022. That's how long we've been waiting for those trucks, and fingers crossed they'll be here in December.
So
Oh,
you're saying next October on the other 2?
yes, sir. The 2 that are on the letter of intent that was placed a year
Yeah.
ago.
I'll second that, Bill.
Go ahead. I got one more question. This year budget, this year that we're in right now, did we budgeted for a new ambulance?
Yes, sir, we did, and that would be the other one that's on this letter of intent.
That's gonna be the second one for here?
Yes, sir.
That's where the funding's gonna come from?
It's my understanding that the second one will come from the LACTF funds. 100,000 of what's in the ambulance purchase contingency for the current budget will be used on the striker boxes that will go in these 2 ambulances. And there is remaining money in a contingency for ambulances in the current budget. During the budget, the court was not willing to commit directly for the ambulances. They wanted it in the contingency fund because the discussion was whether to buy a new ambulance or to use it to remount 2 ambulances that we had. But there is money there for additional ambulances or remounts in the 25 budget.
Do we ever get a price on remounts?
The remount, yes, sir. The most recent one that I have to remount one of the used trucks that we got, the most recent used truck that we got, to remount it and redo the stretcher system in it is $335,150. So we would only be able to remount 1 truck anyways.
335,000, or we can buy a brand new one for $295.
And you can put the stretcher and all that.
Mind, 295 is the chassis.
Yeah, it doesn't have all the equipment in it.
About another 150,000-ish in equipment that is in addition to that cost of the ambulance.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Would you send us that
All right,
information,
Yes, sir.
please? I'd like to look over it.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Thank you, Vice Chair.
26, discuss and take action on the purchase of 2 striker stretcher systems at the cost of $63,407.15 each to be paid from remaining LATCF revenue sharing funds with a balance from fiscal year 2025 capital contingency funds.
So with these 2 trucks, we will have to get the stretcher systems for them, which is a separate purchase from Frazier. So Frazier is the ambulances, Stryker is the stretcher systems. And unfortunately, the price for each system went up about 16 grand from the last time we ordered, less than 2 years ago. So a whole new stretcher system is running about $64,000 for an ambulance, which is really disheartening to me when they did not cost that much the last time I bought them. But if we want to have the auto load systems where we're, safer for patients and our workers, then that's kind of price of those.
And that's pretty much the industry standard now anyway, right? To keep.
Patricia, how much money was in that LATCF fund?
I think it's around 328,000 left in that fund. So the 328 minus the 290, roughly 30,000 left to apply toward these stretchers. So The budget amendment you'll see later takes 100,000 out of the 2025 capital contingency, with the amount over 100,000 coming from these LATCF funds,
Out of contingency or EMS contingency?
EMS capital contingency.
We have it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I'd make the motion to approve agenda item 26 as presented.
Moving second, all in favor, raise your hand. Motion
Thank you,
carries.
Ray.
27, discuss and take action on DA roof repair quote from Jayco Roofing in the amount of $35,260 to be paid from budget funds.
This project was presented during my budget request hearing, and funding was approved at the 3260. I have to check the price did not go up, so I'm seeking for approval to move forward. Re-roofing DA.
Larry, I was reading in the materials here, and at one point it says some leaks may occur due to the existing condition of the roof. Is that before you fix it or after you fix it? I need to be clear on
It's
that.
a pretty important sentence there.
It's on number 4. And they say will not be responsible for leaks or possible interior damage.
Well, we don't have anything going on over there right now that I'm worried about giving us any leaks, which almost to the tipping point over there. It's an asphalt roof that's there now. The exterior of the asphalt roof is in good condition, but the UV and everything is degrading it quite a bit.
I read it as the existing building's condition. Jayco Roofing and Construction is not responsible for existing building conditions, although, and then he talks about leaks in the interior.
Well, that's kind of the way I would read it too, but you know.
I'm not a lawyer
I'm
either.
I know you can twist things around if you're an attorney, right?
We get twisted back on them now.
There you go. Yeah, basically just saying is they're prepping it, putting their stuff up there if it leaks a little bit.
This is talking about the qualifications and clarifications.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You've had good luck with those guys anyway, I think.
I just read that and it caught my eye.
Yeah.
Well, this is the first time we're gonna use this company.
Sure. Yes, sir. We have used this product. And the thing that I like most about this product is the installation, the maintenance and everything that goes into it is dictated by Duralast.
Yeah, this is the same one.
They're all manufacturer trained crews.
Same one we put on the annex.
This is the same roof.
Same roof, yeah, different company.
Yes, sir. Same roof, different vendor.
I'm good with it.
I'll make a motion, we accept number 27. Amount not to exceed 35,260.
I'll second that.
Moving second, all in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Thank you, Larry. 28, discuss and take action on the purchase of Ford F-150 for planning development in the amount of $46,800 from Sam's Bastrop Ford.
Good morning.
Norm.
We'd received approval to go out and get a truck for planning and development. We went and got our bids, and we are asking now to that to same.
You got one that's Bill picked is lower than the other one, but it says no truck currently in stock.
You're correct. It's
So-
taken 6 weeks to get it or longer, but if he doesn't have them ordered or built. This one, we had provided this vendor, they are in the process of, getting on buy board. And so, they are not as of yet, that's why we bid it out. But this is the only one that we're buying this way.
Or is it in comparison to buy board when you bid it out versus buy board?
This is cheaper.
This is
Can you
cheaper.
wait 6 weeks, Andy, or not?
This is cheaper.
Whatever you guys recommend.
I'd much rather stay local if we could.
I mean,
If
they
we're
got
gonna do
the
it
low
this way.
bid, you know, so,
I mean.
but I mean,
Whatever you guys want to do is fine.
so your vehicle is still up and running
It's still running.
now?
Between now and then, I'll make them happy around. Whatever we can get the kind of best deal is fine with me. Did Bill Vick commit to getting us one within 6 weeks?
Well, I have not talked to Mr. Fick himself, but, this salesman that we've been dealing with. That's all I've talked to.
Just know that trucks are hard to get, period, and hard to get in. We can get it, we're talking about 6 weeks.
How was it bid,
Well, I'm not
Mr.?
talking about a
Did
year.
you have to have it in stock or not?
Yes, we asked for, I want to think, the specs for. Just a second before I speak.
As long as it's the same vehicle.
Right. They have offered. Is it a 25? Hold on. Can't see with them, can't see without.
Same engine, same everything else. That's a concern.
And I don't want to misspeak.
Don't we have a citizen input on 24?
Well, somebody had
Oh,
offered
28.
25 and we had put a
28, I mean.
24. Is it
I
a
don't think so.
24? 2024.
No, that was that.
Grant truck that.
Yeah,
That's for the grant.
Okay.
yeah, that's what it.
So it's the same vehicle?
So the Planet Ford bid a 25, that's why they were so expensive. Because we had asked for a 24 model.
The Bastrop
And they had
one is
bid
a
25.
24.
I'm sorry?
The Bastrop one is a 24.
Mm-hmm.
Bill's ordering one, Bill Fix ordering one, it's gonna be a 25 as well.
25. Well, I don't know. I'm not gonna say that. I don't know.
Hunt around and find,
I'm sorry?
you may hunt around and find one versus ordering one. There's no telling on that one there, yeah, so.
Well, the bill's the cheapest and we can wait 6 weeks.
Why can't we just approve this amount of money until we go
Oh,
buy?
6 weeks. doesn't-
You want-
Why can't we approve this amount of money? until we just go buy it?
So we could,
I
Call
can go-
him
I
if that
can
don't
go
work,
back
do this.
and verify.
Yeah.
well, why don't we give,
If he can get the truck in.
why don't we,
Can we just approve the amount for her to go buy? Whether it's bill or first priority bill, and if he can't get it in 6 weeks, we'll go to the
that's
secondary.
exactly what I was gonna say, yeah.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Ms. Allen, I know you don't like that, but it makes it
You
easier.
need to award the bid to a vendor in an amount.
Mhm.
Now, certainly you could recess until tomorrow and let Cheryl do some research and come back.
2 of us are gonna be gone. We got training.
Or you could approve for her to do the research and bring back to court in 2 weeks.
Could you just step out in the hall?
It's
and
2 weeks down the
call Bill
road.
Fick?
We need to make a decision now.
Then why don't we shove her down to the end of the agenda? Let her go call Bill Fick in the
Okay.
hallway.
All right, we're gonna,
Can you make that
Come
phone
back to
call,
that.
Michelle?
all right, let's get through your next 2 and we'll come back to that one.
Well, you gotta skip on the second one until I get the first one done. Because I was asking to go ahead and
Okay.
prepay it. to take the
How about we just go to 31? We'll come back to all yours.
That'll work.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
31, discuss and approve order 2025-07, amending the budget for fiscal year ending September 30th, 2024.
It is amending the for 24, requesting 10,500 coming from contingency, 8,000 going to planning and development, engineering, vehicle registration. The voter registration, I think $1,000, sheriff astray, $1,000. I'm sorry, voter registration is $1,500. IT hardware and software from budgeted funds not spent, requesting to send 104,000 of that to the projects funds, to increase those budgets for, court review next year for purchases. Voter registration, adding the 1,500. Facilities, transferring 20,000 from HVAC projects that was not, spent, moving that to the projects fund. Auditors, financial systems, 40,000 that was not spent, requesting to transfer that to the financial projects in the projects fund. Central courts, 13,000 operating for the 12th judicial district for legal fees for 2024. Sheriff's Department, recording funds in the HIDA grant. Some of that money going to the salaries and benefits overtime for the IDA officers, 14,945. Coming transfer to the projects fund. These are deputy things that were budgeted for the deputies that were not spent. 20,000 going to the operations budget from the HIDA money, and then transferring vehicle outfitting to projects funds that was not completed in 24. Sheriff Estray adding $1,000 to the budget. Constable Precinct 4 transferring equipment to the projects fund and the vehicle that was not purchased to the projects fund. County Jail moving money between operations and salaries. Planning and development showing the 8,000 coming in. And then a summary of the things coming from general fund going to the projects fund, total of 307,000. In the capital projects fund, we had originally earlier in the year transferred $1 million to the road and bridge fund and recorded a FEMA transfer. What this budget amendment will do is budget in the road and bridge fund the money to cover the expenditures for FEMA this year, and then budget FEMA revenues to offset. Healthy County Initiative, 1,500 5-year funds. Second page, road and bridge, showing the $1 million not coming in. But in each of the precinct budgets, you'll see money coming in from FEMA and the budget being increased by that amount. So road and bridge precinct 1, 249,441. Road and bridge 2, 517,686. Road and bridge 3, 285,899. Road and bridge 4, 664,419. So all of these monies are coming in as FEMA revenue, and then the budget is being increased by a like amount. And Road and Bridge 3, $561 worth of revenue being recorded, and $10,000 transferred from operations to capital.
Tricia, what is the insurance proceed? What is that?
Which one?
In my Road and Bridge 3 where it says Operation Storms, and the reasoning on the right-hand column over there says insurance proceed. It's in all of our categories.
Oh, and that is totally wrong. It should say FEMA revenues.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, did not correct that, and that is a wrong description. Obviously, copy and paste. But those are the FEMA expenditures that showed up in each of the budgets, and that amount is equal to the amount of revenues that are showing up in those budgets.
Okay.
EMS fund, 31,000, and insurance refunds going to operations. 75,000 coming out of the contingency to pay for the chassis. And even though the ambulances aren't received until October of next year, when the chassis are delivered, we pay for the chassis and then pay for the outfitting when they're delivered. And then the 175,000 you see coming out of that is that money being transferred over to the projects fund, 50,000 coming out of regular contingency for a total of 225,583 going to the projects fund to pay for the outfitting of the ambulance. Next page, showing this end of year, showing money coming in from general fund, money coming in from EMS. And then you will see in this amendment column, the changes to the budget. So out of the IT projects, we're moving money to the capital fund, and then adding money coming into that project software. That's money coming from the IT budget. 10,000 money coming from the IT budget in general. Facilities, this is the HVAC projects coming in, and then money going out to capitalize some of the HVAC projects. $1,610. We have a project that was complete. Projects capital IT. This was money that was spent from the IT, but projects that needed to be capitalized. 40,000 coming into financial systems. And then at the bottom, we have the constable reserve deputy that was budgeted in projects. 18,000 of that was spent, 18,903, 1,097 that will be budgeted in general fund from now on. Showing the sheriff equipment coming in, the constable equipment coming in. And then our LATCF funds, we've spent a total of 18,261 in non-capital items. And then we will have $334,000 left in that fund. And that will be what is used toward the second ambulance and part of the striker system. And then the other 225,000, that's what will be used on the outfitting of the first ambulance. The 307,000, this is vehicles and upfits. All that money, I think, has been spent. The 307 sheriff upfit, adding the 62, adding the constable vehicle, and a couple of more projects that are complete. Sorry, that was a lot.
Make a motion to approve item 31 as presented.
Move to second, all in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. 32, discuss and approve order 2025-0408, amending the budget for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2020.
Much shorter on this one. The first one is $3,297 from contingency to the DA's budget. The PCs that were included in the budget this year, basically the quote was that end of life computers. This is the increase to buy the 10 budgeted computers. The EMS fund, we're taking out of the capital contingency. There's a total of $491,000 that was budgeted in that capital contingency. And that included ambulance and several other pieces of capital equipment. Taking 100,000 out of that, that would fund a portion of the striker boxes, leaving 391,000 in that fund. And then, of course, transferring the 100,000 capital equipment. Regarding the CDA SB 22 grant, road and bridge, you'll see for each precinct, the estimate of how much needs to be spent on the FEMA projects we've got going on right now. In precinct 1, the estimate is 300,000. So that money is added to revenues and added to operations. Precinct 2, the estimate is 500,000. So that is added to revenues and added to expenditures. Precinct 3, 70,000 estimated to spend, added to revenues and expenditures. And precinct 4, 60,000 added to revenues and expenditures. And of course, these numbers will be adjusted up or down depending on the actual amount spent. And then each precinct has $300,000 added for carry forward funds. And then road and bridge precinct will transfer money from operations to capital to fund a piece of equipment. Second page, projects fund. This is all the open projects and how much is left in each of those projects. And so I won't read them to you. We'll point out a couple on that were adjusted in the current budget, not just transfer, but we have $15,000 that was added to contracts this year, the Safe House contract and the Time to a Read contract. About 6,200 or 6,300 of that was funded with some money that was received on the
Mid-South money.
yeah, the Mid-South money. We received from that with the bulk coming from contingency. And then 30,000 out of contingency to fund the facilities fee.
So that way station project, that's one from several years ago.
Yeah, and that money was actually set aside many years ago when the state was thinking about building, a new building, which is there now.
Yeah.
And they had requested the county fund the replacement of utility poles. So that project really is no longer open.
How do we get rid of it?
That is, that commission, I mean, that motion.
Yeah, well, I'm just asking. I don't wanna slide them, but we've got the new building in place.
Right.
It's already been sitting there 4 or 5 years. We're just gonna let it sit there.
That's up to court.
Move it.
Didn't they,
What they're generating, 'cause I know we can cover that.
Oh, I got my,
things that
got my
they,
generator estimate. I'll be,
That money
that's a
is.
different, that's in the regular part of it.
come back anywhere. I mean, if we take it out, it just jumps over to projects.
It
Right.
goes in project contingency.
So, yeah, I got no problem. If you want to make a motion to remove it, I'll second it.
Well, it's not on the agenda.
So,
I'll bring it back.
okay, we'll bring it back.
Yeah.
That's what I meant next meeting. I just forgot to say that.
Yeah,
I'll bring
you
it
may,
back.
you may quit standing up back there.
Real
I mean,
quick.
are there any other ones? That one just, I've asked about it before and it's been there forever. Do we need to all look at this and clean it up a little bit? I think the rest of them.
I think definitely can go through and look at it and then,
Yeah.
can have a discussion, discuss and approve item where y'all can make some motions if you choose. And as, Commissioner Doggett said, budget amendment, but remove it from a specific project and move it. Project.
Motion to approve item 32 as presented.
I'll second that.
Moving second, all in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries.
Thank you, Patricia.
33, discuss and take action on accepting donation from Trinity Signature Homes for the repairs to Brahma Lane in the amount of 3,200.
We finally received the check for some damage that was done by one of the contractors in Grand Ranch. So this is to accept the money and put it back in Road and Bridge too. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Moving second, all in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. 34, discuss and take action to allow Judge Christian and Commissioner Kirkendall to talk to Texas Department of Justice about the future Justice Center project. That'll be my motion. Moving second, all in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. 35, discuss and take action to authorize Road and Bridge Precinct 3 to purchase a used front end loader from a dealer, auction, or private seller in the amount not to exceed 50,000.
The case loader that we had just lost the engine in it last Thursday. It was already on the auction block. So we're be looking for another one. And normally for these, you just kind of walk up on them, but whether it's auction, private guy. So just getting this approval will allow me to make a deal without having to wait 2 weeks to come to court. So that'd be my motion.
Trying to sell them back.
No, no.
A motion to approve it.
I'll give you a second to buy something else, not my truck.
Yeah, a motion and a second.
Second that.
Ron,
I did.
all in favor, raise your hand.
Thank you,
Motion
Bill.
carries.
Talking, brother.
36, discuss and take action to authorize Road and Bridge Precinct 3 to purchase a used water truck from a dealer, auction, or private seller in an amount not to exceed 50,000.
Same story on this one. If we come up on one, I'd like to be able to get it. So my motion would be to approve agenda item 36 as presented.
Second.
Moving seconded, all in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. We'll go, Cheryl, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, we'll go back to number 28. Discuss and take action on the purchase of a Ford F-150 for planning and development.
Okay, so I talked to Bill Fick, I talked to Matt Henson there, and he said that they do not have a truck. There is none to be located, but he would have to go out and look for one. Now, the truck that we have at Sames, I talked to Gabby and he said it has a 302 motor in it. It doesn't have that Eco Boost, which he said is what most of them have now. He prefers this 302 and it is a 24 model.
All right, well, I say we just go with him, man.
I think we go with him.
At this point, thank you for researching that, though.
You're more than welcome.
That's your motion?
That's my motion.
Who are we going with?
The new,
The sames.
Okay.
Motion to purchase a truck for 46,800 from Sames Bastrop Ford.
that's it.
You get a second?
I second it.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. 29, discuss and take action on prepayment of Ford F-150 for planning and development to have check in hand when picking up the vehicle.
I'll make the motion to approve agenda item 29.
Moving second, all in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. 30, discuss and take action to use Renee Bates Auctioneer Incorporation for the disposal of pre-approved vehicles and equipment. That'd be my motion.
I'll second that. I like them.
Moving second, all in favor, raise your hand.
Great. Just letting you know that November the 1st is when that auction opens. It will close on the 15th. We'll have viewing of the vehicle on the 13th.
What on the 13th?
Viewing.
Viewing.
We're gonna come look at that case
List
load.
Everything that's gonna be in this auction. I mean,
I
what all do we have? So,
had 20 vehicles. I've got a tank. I've got a roller and
And a
a
loader.
boom rag. What is boom rag?
You can send us a list though.
What is that? I don't know,
Yeah,
but I'll get it for you. Yes.
okay.
That's good.
I got a good deal on the loader if you want to buy it before it goes.
I'll tell you what I'll do, Bill, let it go through the auction.
Thank you, Michelle.
It'll be all
All
right.
right, 37, discuss and take action on the determination of unrestricted use under section 310 of floodplain management regulations of Walker County in regards to permitting for the proposal Jameson Lake Spillway project.
Judge, I'll be present, but not, but.
Oh, it's the.
I was gonna make a
repair and
motion to
restoration
waive the-
of Dam and it's a remote facility.
Go on.
Derek's here, guys got any questions? There is
This is on the ranch.
they're requesting that under our existing policy, there's a section that deals with agricultural products, pond and fish hatcheries and those kinds of things. There's not a building that's being built per se, and they included a development certification that it won't change the stream, that they're not altering the stream channel, and that there won't be an impact to adjoining properties. So they're asking for basically the court to consider them as
Unrestricted use.
unrestricted use.
I make the
That
motion,
would waive my responsibility to require a permit.
I make the motion to approve agenda item 37 as presented here. Way out. Done.
Moving second, all in favor, raise your hand. Opposed, Kirkendall's
Present, not voting.
Yep. 38, discuss and take action on Forster USA Real Estate Group Incorporated request for variance to section 503 of the floodplain management regulations of Walker County for the proposed Sweetwood development in ETJ. Morning.
State your name, please.
Yes, hi, I'm Joseph Joseph with EHRA Engineering. Both, Joseph Stokes. So our development here is adjacent to Zone A and Robinson Creek. What we're proposing is to grant the variance to not having to study the adjacent stream in the area of development. Our intent is to have all of our development located outside of Zone A, the approximate floodplain. In addition to that, we have the established, it is studied upstream of our development at about 1,000 feet. And so we're taking that highest BFE and raising all of our lots above that. So in that way, we believe we're going above and beyond the FEMA regulations. And also FEMA's guidance, Zone A's respective to development is for the developer and the community to work together to develop outside of it. That's what we're planning to do. And additionally, we have some, there is, I guess, best available data, which is Texas Water Development Board has given us some preliminary information. And BFEs associated with that are lower than the upstream established BFE. So our intent is to hold that established BFE and trying to get variance, not having to study the stream all the way through. And so that's.
Where's this at?
This is right there, Andy, right, 1374, right past Robinson Road.
Yeah, right, kind of across from Sunset.
Is that old Smith land, Joe Smith land? So you're backing up to Robinson Creek.
So for the court's clarity, we're not regulating the subdivision regulation itself. Jason is undoing that, but we have to do the floodplain rating for. And our policy requires a detailed study. So that's why they're before you do the grants under the floodplain review. We're not regulating streets and detention and that kind of stuff, that's all under the city of Huntsville.
Well, we need to make a statement anyway, because if we're not regulating it, but it needs to meet our standards because we've dealt with this in the past in the ETJ. So if you don't meet our standards, are you asking for public maintenance after it's over?
I believe, no, our mud will maintain this, this basin. And
But we are, just to be clear, we are regulating this particular thing. So
Yeah.
floodplain studies and floodplain reviews are under the floodplain regulations. Our regulations do apply to this project. This is outside of the subdivision regulations. Just to make it clear that the city's got one hand in and then we're regulating just this one thing.
I
That's what we
understand.
did with Texas Grand Range.
Yeah, I totally understand, but it's definitely a conflict when it comes down to us taking the roads in the end. So I kind of want to point it out to them, you need to meet our standards also. So if you don't, and you're asking for public maintenance, I will not recommend it come in public maintenance. So we need to be clear on that.
I will add that we did, submit to the city council, and we have obtained their approval on our development plan. That includes our detention that's adjacent to the stream.
And our engineer is not recommending that we approve the variance that you're asking for. Is that what I'm reading here?
Yes, sir.
I will add that, FEMA's guidance with respect to zoning is that, we stay out of it completely. We're, required to study it, then it would likely be smaller and lower than the BFE we're establishing. And at that point, we would want to develop in zone A, in what is currently zone A.
But you are impacted.
We're not, we're staying out of it. So all of our development is staying outside of zone A, which is the current floodplain.
But what I'm getting at is your development does dump into Robinson Creek.
It does, but we have detained, so we are placing our detention basin adjacent to it. So we are detaining for our development. And in that city council has approved our, plan to discharge into Robinson Creek at a less than we were before.
Are they reviewing it or have they approved it?
They approved it.
You have a drainage plan approved by the city of Huntsville? And construction plan for the entire development?
Our construction plans are in review, as with the city of Huntsville and Walker County, so I guess there's dual jurisdiction, but as far as the drainage plan with the detention, the city of Huntsville has approved that.
The city of Huntsville has approved a lot of stuff that conflicts with the county. And we're working on making that better, but it's not there yet. Derek, I know you wrote this because I saw your name, right?
I mean, a lot.
How many lots you got?
592.
592.
Just what I need on 1374.
Okay.
You make, I guess, a couple of clarifications of where my letter is coming from. So the drainage plan approved by City of Huntsville, that relates to them adding impervious cover and making sure they don't impact flows downstream, meaning increasing flow. Our concern is more related around the floodplain. There's two concerns there. One is, are the structures they're building, the homes they're building, are they elevated above the floodplain? Because obviously we don't want a bunch of people buying houses out there. There are going to be issues later because they're under the floodplain, like flood insurance get flooded. And they've done a great job doing that. They, like he said, they've stayed outside of the zone A. I think they've made conservative estimates to raise those homes well above that floodplain. Really don't have any issues with that. Where our concern is when you look at the zone A, and y'all are familiar with this, a lot of times zone A does not match closely to the real world. Nobody knows where those maps came from. A lot of them are based on some estimates, I think, that were done a long time ago. And so if you look at contour data compared to the shape of the zone A, you got a lot of elevation difference from one side to the other. The lower elevation is on the side of where they're proposing the homes and the development. The guidance from FEMA does address that issue as well, where they say, if you have, there's some uncertainty involving zone A. So if you have a gradual grade from the edge of zone A outside to where your homes and your development are, you need to likely study it, because we're realizing we're just kind of making an estimate here. And there's a possibility that variation could cause a big change in that shape just because of the gradual grade. So the lower portion, kind of I call it kind of like a peninsula of the green area there, that's fairly low starting out compared to the zone A, as well as where the detention pond is going. And so going back to our concerns, not the elevation of the homes, our concern is more about there's fill and grading happening to build the berm for the pond. There obviously has to be fill to raise those homes up. And what we need to see is some verification that that fill in these areas that appear based on the contours to be consistent with where it may flood based on flood elevations. He mentioned the BFE, kind of comparing those BFE elevations, contours, things like that. All that area does encroach some in there, and so we need to make sure that fill does not impact the floodplain in a way that would affect other people that maybe didn't build their house up high enough, or maybe we're impacting our Robinson Road. There's a lot of potential there. So
Well, this is where I was going a while ago, Derek, is because if the impacts, if we don't figure out what kind of impact it's doing to Robinson Creek, then you've got Bowden Road right down the road that takes, if there is more of an impact, to Bowden Road, which could potentially wash some of it out. I mean, we're all seeing roads with this development that are places where water has crossed, it's never crossed before, and the development has an effect on it.
And that's a very vicious creek. I've lived on that creek since I was a kid and live there again now. And it's just amazing what the water does on Robinson Creek.
I mean, you catch everything coming from town to, it all goes down the creek, and it don't stay up long, but when it's up, it's way.
Yeah.
And every development we put up and down that thing has an effect on it.
So there are situations where when you look at the zone A, where they're filling and developing, there's a lot of elevation change, and you basically just common sense tells you, hey, they're not really affecting anything here. Unfortunately, to me, this is too close to call just based on not taking a closer look at it and doing a little bit of study to show we don't have an issue.
Well, with the engineer's advice, I would say we're going to deny the, that's my motion.
I'll second that.
Moving second, all in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. 39, discuss and take action on Simcoe Group LLC request for variance to section B 12.8A of the Walker County subdivision regulations regarding detention facilities for the proposed Jones Reserve subdivision.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
I've worked with Annis Payne, engineers representing the clients. We get started. This is not the same McManus that some of you Texan fans are upset about. They kicked the winning field goal yesterday. You can make no claim to that. What we're asking for is, it's a little difficult to split a hair, but in this particular case, there is an exception that exists already within subdivision regulations, 12.8. It says that an exception can be or may be allowed if the owner demonstrates that no adverse effect occurs to neighboring property. And this is in regard to detention, and it goes through a whole list of things. What we ended up doing to begin with was we went to the whole, it's a 60-acre tract, large lot, large acreage tract, single family residential development. And what we ended up doing is we analyzed the entire property and showed the property splits in a couple of different directions. About half, the majority of where the development would impact. We provided detention. Detention ended up being a little over $100,000 to mitigate one CFS. Also request to mitigate 0.1 CFS off of the 11-acre area where one house is being built. So we went back, we met with Andy. Said, this is kind of the path forward. Go through with this. We see there could be the option that if we just improve a couple of where the driveways are cutting across instead of trying to detain, the existing owner of that tract owns a large acreage tract that abuts the creek. He is willing to give a drainage easement as big as he needs to allow whatever water comes through to get to the creek. But based on what we understand from not just floodplain development, but just water development in general. And I think Derek submitted something earlier, Bob submitted something earlier that was proved where there's development that was actually in the floodplain that generally requires a study to be done. One, I think even non-engineers understand in order to do what they were asking to do on that driveway, doesn't require a study. Even though, and y'all approved that, and that's easy to see. The last request that was made, it's a little bit more difficult to see that. Now, we are not in the floodplain. There's no floodplain that touches this property, but there is a creek. And the Water Development Board has looked at the creek up to where this property is. So what we decided to do is we're going to go above and beyond. Minimum requirement for floodplain studies is to show that there's, and if you look at Lyle's request previously, what they're stating is that they're certifying that without studying it, they are saying, and it's written, that there is no anticipation of any change, and that the floodplain levels will be similar to what they were to begin with, and that there's nothing expected to change. What we did was we actually went through the entire property and we looked at the 900-acre watershed that it's in upstream, adjacent to, and everything down to that point. And we showed our development doesn't cause 0.00. I mean, it causes zero impact to the water surface elevations all the way down. And it's a tributary to Caney Creek, which goes through right there past the Manors and past 150. And so what we're trying to do is show that by building a couple of houses on this large acreage tract, that up to a point, and we've defined what that development plan, up to a point, we believe and have signed and sealed and done a complete study showing not just from that property, but from the entire watershed down through that creek, all the way down to neighboring properties and future developments that are occurring right now, not going to be an impact as far as water surface elevations go. And that's actually above and beyond zone A requirements. Zone A says you can't do any more than a float. We're actually doing what Andy would probably call it a zone AE study to show that there's no adverse impacts. Even defines that. And we tried to do this above and beyond what Walker County's requirements would be. And again, if you get two engineers in a room, you get 6 different opinions on something, right?
I'll agree with that.
You get, Andy sees septic systems being designed, and while he has a state requirement that he has to uphold, what he, I've submitted a number of them. Andy has never said, hey, you've designed 4 sprinkler heads. Don't do that, do 3. Or I know you want to use a drip emitter system, but I think you should use spray heads. He never gets into that aspect of it. He just says this is what's required. And what we're trying to do is, and we can work out engineering stuff, but what we're looking at is, and I don't know if it's a variance or not, because it's an exception that's already allowed. But what we're trying to do is to show that we're not trying to meet. We're trying to show that what we're proposing out within the limitations that we've prescribed on the proposed plan, that we're not. Our goal is to not have any impact downstream or next to the neighbors.
Okay, have you sent your proposal in to Andy?
Yes,
we have. We got our response back yet? It's under review. We were trying to get it done before court. We were doing our best. We had not done that. They submitted some supplemental information last week as well, so we're working our way through that. But I'm just to recap, where you tell me if I was misstating this. Your position is that that if you're allowed to not build this particular swale detention, which is what you're asking not to do, that there will be no adverse impact on the adjacent properties, and your client will save a whole bunch of money.
Correct. And the adjacent property, the downstream property, is actually his property.
That's just 37-acre tract.
Yes. So there's where the creek.
Show us where you're talking about.
So right in here, we were proposing to do detention within a swale. And that detention is going to be about 2 feet deep, about 40 feet wide, in a natural drainage area. We're going to impound it behind the driveway. One of the proposed on-site development driveways. There's another driveway that goes to this existing acreage tract back here that's already got a house on it. If we instead just improved both driveways and created a drainage easement, private drainage easement, this is his property also. It's not part of the plat. He just wants to leave that. We've got an exception or variance to platting the tract earlier to do that. This tract, including this area right here, is his. This is the creek. And the floodplain starts right up here. As the zone A floodplain. What we did was we took this, and this is north is that way. So we took everything that goes out by Elmina, 1375, that whole watershed. This area and all of this area south. And we did an analysis of how much rainfall falls in the 100-year rainstorm. And what that does at this point right here, we carried the existing condition and the proposed condition, compared those two to the water surface elevations in the existing. We carried that all the way down. About almost 2 miles. And we showed that, and we gave I've got a feeling Andy's got it, and we show that there's, it's not that there's negligible impact. It's not that there's an anticipation of, we don't think anything can happen. The statement is that there is zero rise in the water surface elevation. That's all. And all we're trying to do is bring that to the court and say, we're not trying to sneak something through. We're not trying to get out of this. This was going to be 160-foot concrete weir with 4 sets of 2x4 box culverts to detain 1 CFS increase. And instead of doing that, we can contain all of that in a swale down to the creek. And the creek shows no impact.
That's a lot. That's
fine. And we didn't carry it to just here. We carried it all the way down. And in the CFS, the amount of flow that's in this creek at this point right here is almost 2,000 CFS. So you're looking at 1 out of 2,000. So that's not even 1%. It's not even 0.1%. It's 0.05% increase in just the flow, which in most cases, you'll probably find that anywhere else you'll consider that to be negligible when you increase the flow from 1, even in.
Okay, Joe, I don't want to, we're getting way too far in the weeds. All right, so for the core, I would tell you there are 3 options that I can see. One is the court approves it without engineering review. I do not recommend that. Now, 2 is the court does a contingent approval based on no objection from our engineer on the review. Or 3 is you deny it today or pass on today and ask them to bring it back next court with the review. If you can think of a 4th option, be my guess, but those are the. No, my recommendation and my motion is going to be to move forward with this contingent upon no objection from our reviewer. That's your motion? That's my motion.
Engineer, is that who you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, Derek.
Say one thing real quick.
So they're not gonna bring it back?
As long as we get a no objection. If we get a no objection, then yes, we'll be.
Looks like he stood up. That usually means an objection.
We'll unrest.
Yeah. So I don't disagree with anything that Joe's saying. The reason it's probably a variance is what we're talking about, because this is in the county, right? This is full jurisdiction. So the ordinance says 0 increase in flow, and what he's saying is there's a slight increase in flow, but there's zero increase in the floodplain elevation. So you are actually going against one part of the ordinance and saying, hey, we're gonna be okay with the idea that there's a slight increase in flow as long as all the engineers agree that that's really not gonna be an impact. So that's, I just wanna make sure that's clear so that when Blau's reviewing it, we know that you're okay with that idea, because we can't just review it against the ordinance and say, oh yeah, well, it's fine because it's not zero, right? So it's the whole idea of it's zero versus slightly above zero.
Thank you for that clarification. That's good.
All
So
right,
all these are big tracks all with this one, right? Yes, it's 5 acres.
There's a couple 3 acres in there.
There's some on,
Yeah,
on the north end.
on the term
the
side, there's some smaller tracks along that side.
But they actually, so on those, there's a couple of small acreage tracks up here. I say smaller acres, like two to 3 acres. They actually drain through that lake right there. And then it goes on down.
And to be clear, our review and no objection under the regulations does not give any waiver to their responsibility to adjoining properties. So they still are responsible to the adjoining owners to not damage those properties. We're not taking that away from them.
And the county's not at risk.
yeah, you get a second, Brandon?
Yep, we got a motion and second. Any other questions, discussion?
No question.
All right, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. Number 40, discuss and take action on Bruce and Judy Wigton and request for variance to on-site sewage facility regulations of Walker County for continued use of unpermitted on-site sewer facility on their property.
Oh, sorry. I was given some bad advice. We bought our property here in Walker County in 2007. In 2008, we built a 630 by 60 shop and garage. That's it. I needed a septic system for that. Moving from the city to the country, talked to people. Call Robert. So called Robert, got a septic system put in. That advice was, I'm not in the city, county, you don't need a permit. A couple months ago, we're building a home on this property. Started the permit process for the new home. Not the septic system yet, but it was discovered at that time. I was unpermitted, and they said I had a bootleg system. At the advice of my contractor, I hired an engineer, come out, spec in a new home. So septic system should be, which got the report, told them of my problem. Let me look at it. The system has been operating for 16 years without incident. He's done soil tests. Doesn't see a problem. This is functioning properly. I'm requesting a variance so I can continue without going to jail.
I don't think it's quite that serious.
Well, that's good stuff. So you got an engineer come out, look at the system that's currently there. John Contamani. Okay. I have his report. If you don't have it handy.
I think we've got it on, yeah, I read it last night.
He did soil tests when he was out there. He went with his divining rod, verified that the drip lines are where I told him they were. And that I've got 2 500-gallon tanks. It's a proper system for what it is. And it's been working fine for 16 years. It was never my intention to deceive or defraud or by not getting a permit. I was told I didn't need one. To be clear, not by us.
Yeah.
Yeah, how much jail time you want to do over it?
We did have a Robert working for us back then. I'll make it clear that that was not that Robert. So here's our issue. Here's our problem. This is a system that was put in well after permitting and when we were keeping track of permits and admittedly without a permit. You guys have had some systems before you guys before that were in areas where it was questionable whether or not a permit maybe was gotten and was lost or was done prior to code or just after the code was adopted. The issue here is that we have a agreement as authorized agent to permit septic systems in Walker County under TCU. and completely waiving the permitting requirement without an inspection, without it coming into compliance is, I don't think within keeping with what we're doing with TCEQ. I think that you're gonna get one back from TCEQ for completely waiving the requirement for a permit unless the tract is over 10 acres. Y'all did one of those recently where somebody had a tract that was over 10 acres.
This
No
is
issue with
37.
specific waiver.
37. 37 plus.
You 37 on the whole tract?
Yes.
No, that may change things. Hang on a second.
You may not have to go to jail.
Where's Stokes at?
Is over 10 acres. Okay, then you would be waiving a local requirement because the state allows systems without a permit if it's over 10 acres. We don't, and almost no other county does that has any size of population because they'll put them next to the court could probably do it under that if they want to.
You're gonna get a proper system on the new house?
I got the report in here. And the invoice I'm about to get for it is justifying it to.
Well, getting Mr. Contabani out there shows you're trying to do the right thing, so, what have we done in the past on these, Andy? I don't want to go.
We've not done much on anything this new.
Okay.
Most of the court actions have been taken on stuff that was done in the 80s, maybe even early 90s. In this era of the septic installations, it's very uncommon for people not to get permits.
Yeah.
So I know he wasn't, he put it in, but he, like you said, he got some bad advice. I don't know. The system was illegally installed. The things we don't know, who manufactured the tanks, what kind of lids they have on, any of those kinds of things. We don't know any of that. So I couldn't stand here and tell you that things won't collapse at any point, that they won't have other issues. We've done no inspection. We don't know what's in the ground out there. However, in the state statute, there is an allowance for tracts over 10 acres. We have it in our local that they are not allowed to, but if the court waived that requirement in our local statute under this, it wouldn't waive the state law. So the state statute wouldn't be, that's where I would caution you to waive something that the state mandates.
The certified engineer that I had inspect the system said it was sound. It was of quality.
So my motion is gonna be to, or either approve Item 40.
Could we, I mean, I think he should still go through some sort of a permitting
Yeah, I'll
process.
my permit or whatever.
For us, the process to permit it would require an inspection and will require him to submit details about the system that he may or may not have access to. For example, who manufactured the tanks? Were they manufactured at standards? I don't know the answer to those things.
We're talking about waiving the one that he just got inspected.
No, the old one.
No, the old one.
Oh, not the new one.
New one, he's.
Yeah, that's my
The old one.
concern is,
New one he's putting into code.
here's my concern. A person with 11 acres can risk putting one in, knowing that if we catch them, we're gonna say it's okay, it's over.
It would be a dangerous precedent to set in general.
Yeah.
This is why, it's before you guys.
What's our permit fee for a septic system?
$210. What I just paid.
Yeah, plus the development fee, but yes.
What's the development fee?
He's doing a system right now, so it might be that for requiring the permit, he could tie it into the system he's doing, but it would require some additional.
I wouldn't do that, but my thoughts would be in lieu of a permit, having to pay a $210 fee or something like that. There's something.
I brought my checkbook with me. Let's get it.
There's
done.
gotta be some sort of, there's gotta be some sort of.
Well, I mean, the only, you do understand that if somebody did, if the system did fail, you would have to bring it back up. And
Oh, yeah.
so, I mean, I don't know that Quentin's probably gonna let us charge this.
No, well, you know.
That we ain't never done before.
Well, I got a little bit of an issue with it too, because I mean, it's not that old where we look at on, normally we look at the 80s.
Right.
Yeah.
That they're questionable.
I mean, what we've done in the
Yeah.
past is go back and I think we've done one other day and.
Right, had to go back and look at it.
Less than a year and have it re-inspected. I mean, that would probably,
I'm sorry, less than a year.
yeah. So you go back and have somebody come back in Cataboni or whoever and re-inspect it to make sure that there is no failure.
In 9 months.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we've done that in the past.
Yeah, but there was old systems.
But there were old
you know,
systems,
I mean, it
exactly.
was
This
old
is,
system.
you know,
For what it's worth.
But let me interrupt you. That was a system they were gonna use that hadn't been in use.
it was an old system, yeah.
Yeah.
Been sitting there.
And that's what I'm
It's been
saying.
Sitting there.
That's the
He's
only thing
living
different
there.
we've done
Yeah,
is.
but he's living there
Yeah.
and the system's functional.
Yeah.
When, right now, and since we purchased the property, it was raw land when we bought it. As we developed the property, built this 30 by 60 workshop, and there's also a shed, a cover for our fifth wheel RV. That's what has been using this system, excuse me, for 16 years.
The building or the RV?
Well, both. We will live in the RV while we've been waiting to build a house. Now we're building a house. The RV is going to be gone. The only thing, is personal workshop for me. I like woodworking. It's not commercial, not anything. It's going to be me. Not every day in the bathroom in that workshop. That's all that's going to be using this system. We could tag that on as non-residential. It's non-residential. I've had the tax office, because I guess a lot of people build a barn, home shops. I've had the county out twice taking pictures. I'm in the place, proving that we're not living there. It's a workshop. Just so everybody knows, the appraisal district is not us.
Yes.
No, I know, but I've had county people out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are records in the county
What we gonna do?
showing that we're not living there.
I'm
Yeah.
good.
We probably need to come up with a drop dead date to where we just say no. And I don't know what that date would be. I mean, that'd be something we need to do a little research on, but
After I get out of jail.
after you're out of jail.
Well, I mean, again, if this were a tract less than 10 acres.
Yeah, then you would have no choice.
I don't think
Yeah.
you guys would have a lot.
Yeah, and so
It's the only thing that gives you some ability to waive your own requirement because you're not waiving the state's requirement.
It's 37 acres. It's a wood shop. It's not like it's a non-residential, I think was the terminology.
Accessory structure. Non-residential accessory structure.
Yeah, I mean, if you go with non-residential, I can go along with this one, but basically no residential in it.
So
So,
my motion was to the variance for 42 or 40
For non-residential accessory structure.
for non-residential
Accessory structure.
accessory structure.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, raise your hand.
This is a reluctant, yeah.
Motion carries.
But I think let's get something on the books for, like you say.
A drop dead date, no.
After, I'll tell you in general, after, give me a little while, I haven't been here, but after 2000.
Catching most of them, right?
That they were relatively, I mean, it's hard for me to testify that in 1981 that, no permit was applied for and misplaced or
Right.
anything like that. But by 2008, we were.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And what gives me heartburn about this is the fact that he said he had raw land. He developed it. And he got power to a structure, all the mechanisms that should have been in place in 2008. Didn't throw a red flag and say, hey, you can't get power because you don't have a development permit or you don't have this or that, right?
Yeah, we still have some power. So they'll get the drop. Yes, because it'll be for power pole only or something like that. And then
Just
something will get.
Never goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good. Number 41. Discuss and take action on utility placement application for Bahia Pipeline LLC on Bowden Road, Hook Road number 2, Bull Road, Preston Road, Burnett Road, Ball Road, Cotton Creek, Cemetery Road, Sundog, Dipping Bat Road, Ruger, Remington, Red Hawk on precinct 2.
So try to do the court a little favor, since we had so many of these at one time, and just split them by precinct instead of listing out 30.
Yeah.
Right away crossings. So, they've been looked at.
What's your name, Andrew? In the back.
Andrew Thomas.
Come on.
He's a company man.
Hey, you the man I'm looking at.
Hey,
I
we've
told
been
you-
talking to you.
I told you I deal with one person.
That's right, that's right.
So,
I defer to him, but I'll be.
hey, it is what it is, You remember that statement? I told you that. So So that's why I want you up here.
I'm sorry. Morris P. A. Bear Incorporated.
All right, basically, I mean, we kind of talked about this in the meeting that we had upstairs from where we're sitting. Really all I need from you is a phone call
Yes, sir.
when y'all do these and we'll approve them
Notification.
through Ashland. So now you're getting to meet who's gonna be helping you with that.
Okay.
So call me or call the office on each one of these
Yes, sir.
and we'll size it for you.
Notification. Okay. you mean for the-
We'll help you with the sizing.
Okay, okay. Well, and we have the driveway applications in, with the planning and development office as well there.
Okay.
We won't process those until this gets.
Right, these are
Okay.
just the crossings under the roads with the pipelines.
Okay. And all y'all's, I mean, are pretty well temporary unless we agree that one's gonna be pumped.
Yes, sir. For the driveways, yes.
Okay. All right.
Our recommendation, choose to approve that it be based on the conditions and observations listed in the blah letter. This letter right here.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion to approve referencing the Blau.
October 8th.
I'm just gonna reference the letter.
I guess did I just get this?
Yeah.
Man,
You're calling Andrew up.
okay, two Andys here.
We don't review their claims to having proper way and all that, that's on there.
Yeah, that's not us.
There are some of their crossings that don't meet the 90-degree. Generally, it's because they're trying to follow alignment of existing pipeline.
Have you seen this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You got a copy of it? All right. All right, I'll make a motion to approve contingent following the Blau recommendations.
Second.
They'll get second first. Yes, sir.
This is the 40-inch pipeline, 42, something like this, a big one.
30.
No, that one's got to it yet.
Oh, okay, that's
They
coming.
got
All
what?
right, I got a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries.
Done.
42, discuss and take action on utility placement application for Bahia Pipeline on Sandy Creek Farm Road, Stewart Road, Ranch Road, Christiniac Road, Old Houston Road, Marion Lane, Rogers Road, Mount Zion Road.
Okay, I have a question on this one. Does this one not cross Bath? Cotton?
I'm sorry, what was the road?
Does this one not cross Cotton Road?
Cotton was on 2.
Cotton Creek Cemetery we cross.
What about Cotton Road?
No.
I don't think it does, Cotton, because it does cross us right up there at the cemetery access road, right?
Cotton Creek Cemetery would pass.
Yeah, right.
But not.
Okay, so the big one's the one that's gonna cross.
Probably.
Yeah, that's the next one.
All right, I'm gonna make the same motion as Ronnie made.
Same contingency?
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. All right,
Thank you, man.
road material workshop. Who's taking the lead on that one?
We'll let Brandon take off with it and then I'll help him with it.
Ooh. So. We needed to define what. Start. About what we're gonna do, what we're gonna accept with recon products. Text dot spec says one thing. Got some people here to represent. I don't know if we can get into that, but we need to have a discussion on what we're gonna accept as recon products.
Basically, I'm gonna say we're gonna go with text dot standards and that's gonna be it. You know, they gotta meet those specifications. So that's where I'm at.
Can you agree with that?
And I don't,
Yeah.
I mean,
Andy talk first, or what do you?
Workshop, anybody can talk on this. It's a workshop.
Y'all want to talk?
I just can't see, so
Okay.
I'm sure we'll talk at some point, but.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me, I guess, I don't want to take too much of your time. I really appreciate y'all putting this workshop together because I think it's gonna give us a good understanding, expectations moving forward. That's all we're looking for. I agree with you, Mr. White, 100%. We want to meet the tax law standard. And so, maybe a little detail we need to work out to fully understand that and be on the same page. Find some good expectations moving forward. So this is David Fry. He's with Fry Development. Thomas right here. He's running the project for Fry. He's their operations guy. Patrick, y'all know from my office. We've got two people from Terracon. They're going to be doing the testing. So Kyle and Mark from Terracon. If there's Ace back here, so Ace is the contractor.
John, with text material as well.
Okay, then we have John with text material. So they're all here, not necessarily because they need time to talk or want to present something different than what we're going to talk about here, but here for questions and here to learn so that we can find a good path moving forward. So, basically, they want to use crushed concrete for aggregate base. We are getting that aggregate from Texas Materials. Texas Materials sent in a testing report for a submittal, which was reviewed by PJ with GLS. And then they also delivered some material on site. So PJ rejected the submittal based on, nothing necessarily on the testing data. The testing data appeared to meet the spec, but he did observe a lot of plastic, other trash within the material on site, which he said was not acceptable, which we agree with. And so based on that, he rejected it. We've had several conversations since then. There's been some conversation about the testing methods. Not really here to rehash that. I think we've gotten through that pretty well with Commissioner Decker. That when we test the material, we can include what we're calling objectionable material, which would be the wood and plastic and stuff like that. We're not trying to say that we can have up to 1.5% of that material. So we're gonna rely on in that test that material is separate from the test. That's fine. So there's no confusion there moving forward. Hope you agree, Mr. Decker. I think we kind of accomplished that on site at the plant the other day. So there's two parts of the spec, one being, meeting that testing for deleterious material. Feel like, if we have more questions there, I'd be glad to discuss them, but I feel like we're comfortable there. The other one being material needs to be free from, it says reinforcing steel and objectionable material. We also agree with that. So the question is, at what point is it free from? So Texas Materials, they're doing more work to get as much of that out as possible. There's no real way to go on site at Texas Materials and sift through their pile and make sure there's absolutely no material. So my understanding from saying free from is it needs to be removed. We can't just say, okay, we're okay with a little bit, we're okay with a few pieces, it's free from. So that's our goal. The way we're trying to meet that goal is once the material comes on site, it's going to be laid on the road. It's going to be cut to full depth. It's going to be windrowed. And we've got pickers to go down. And if there's any material left after Texas Materials is done, they will pick out all the material. So at the end of the day, we'll have material that meets all the testing spec. We'll meet the spec on the deleterious material, not including the trash, and also will be free from trash. So that's what we see as meeting the spec. The situation we're in now is we have a submittal for the material that's not been approved because of the on-site inspection and on-site observation of the trash that's put in the material. What we're trying to say is the submittal we would think would be based on it passes the test. And the part of the spec that says it should be free from, we're asking that to be looked at when we're ready, when they've finished the process of picking out the material and we're ready to have an inspection. We're going to lay this road, or it could be right before the pre-paving inspection. or it could be at any point along the way, because what we're also gonna do is our inspectors are gonna be out there, they're gonna be watching as they're windrowing, as they're cutting to the full depth, and they're gonna be documenting with pictures and reports that we can provide to the county showing this is the process we went through. We were going through full depth. We didn't just drop it down and pick stuff off the top and say it's good. So we'll have that full documentation. TJ, your inspector, or anybody else is welcome to also come observe that process. And we feel like once we go through that process, we're ready to actually complete the road, that we will be free from further spec. So that's kind of my.
I don't see how you can get free from all them little wood chips in there that I looked at. There's millions of them.
I guess what we're asking is to let us try. You know, if we're starting at the point of, you feel like it's impossible, I guess we need to figure out where to go from there.
Well, that's why we got y'all up here. So you need to feel how this court's gonna be. You know, we can't vote on it today because it's a workshop, but you can get a feeling from us.
Sure.
What we expect.
So my understanding from our last meeting, the next step is kind of the process I just described. And we'll also get into the testing. So trying not to be too long-winded here, but there's, you know, several steps we're going to take as well to verify that the testing that we're submitting, we now have between the material supplier and the developer and GLS, we have 3 different testing groups that are going to be testing this material. And we're going to make sure that the material being tested is going to be the material that we see on site. We're going to have dedicated stockpiles, things like that. So that's kind of the other part of what we've talked about and what we're willing to do to make sure that the county is comfortable. But those are the 2 steps is, you know, get the testing data, which meets the spec, and provide the cleaning that we've talked about and present it when it's ready to go as free from. So.
Well, somebody explained to me, because Mr. Decker went down to the plant and followed the truck back, that dump, that was not out of a testing pile.
That's what I was fixing to bring up.
You know, I mean, so how in the hell am I supposed to trust anything said now? If you tell me it's tested?
Can I speak up?
Yes, state your name.
It's Tom Jagger. I'm running the project on behalf of the developer on site. So in an effort to make sure that we were achieving kind of a standard that was thorough, I've requested the Terracon test on site material arriving, right? Which is not required by the county. And that's not part of the testing requirements. We did that because I want to make sure that whatever material is coming on the ground is consistent with the highest standards. I can't do that at the yard, but I can do that on our job site. So for every day of delivery, they're taking at least 1 sample of the material. And then we've done additional testing to make sure at a certain frequency, I think it's 250 every 250 feet, they're taking additional samples to verify the quality of the material.
All right, Terracon sitting back there. When y'all test, you go off of our text dot standards, right?
Yes.
How did we get to where we approved a pile with all that man-made trash when the text dot standards clearly say that it's not supposed to be there? How did we get there?
The original material that was accepted for delivery to the site was based on a submittal from the supplier. We picked up secondary samples, running gradations. We expect to run gradations, depth checks, and compaction tests on the sample as it's placed. So when we got started, we did not anticipate taking a sample from the plant. We thought that it was a submittal from the plant. So that was where that first delivery was begun. And then we were sampling on site. The way we had interpreted the specs is we were doing gradation the depth checks, action of the material. After the first visit on site, and we had deleterious materials, we picked up additional samples from the site. And we ran the deleterious materials tests. And gradation tests. And those first results we just got back on Saturday, the first 4 results we got. If you combine the objectionable material with the other defined materials in deleterious, they exceeded the 1.5% spec. The objectionable material was actually in the 2 to 3%, 2 to 3% range. As it was delivered originally, the deleterious material was around 1%, 0.5%, somewhere like that. So then, at that time, when we had already observed the material on site, that's when the first discussion occurred that asked, okay, what do we do now? How do we fix it? Where they came up with the procedure to have pickers out there and clean up what was created on the site. And our expectation is that's going to be a visual observation at first, and then we would still sample. And we've continued sampling every day that delivered. We were obtaining 1 sample per day. Don't have those test results yet, but get those samples and run the deleterious material and the sieve analysis on the samples as they're delivered to the site.
So I guess kind of to add to that, to help answer your question, Commissioner White, we agree there's confusion on the material that's on site, which is why we're testing the material on site. We're willing to test all the tests that are required at the plants, which include even a few more than the deleterious material. And we're willing to, test as often as the county feels comfortable at. All this is going to be presented in writing to the engineer's office, and they're going to respond from GLS. But that's part of my presentation in writing is any material to be delivered. We've agreed there's going to be a set stockpile. It's a dedicated stockpile for this project. That will be the one that's tested. If you like, we can get Terracon, which we've already been doing, to go test that on site at the plant. They're going to mark it, basically paint it around the edge so you can make sure that no material has been added or removed prior to them putting it on the truck. We can document it, photo document it, however you want to do that. So that solves the problem moving forward. What solves any concerns up to this point is going to be having to do testing on site, which, like you said, is not typically required as part of the spec, but in this situation, we feel like it's warranted, and we're really glad to provide that.
Well, of course, it's Brandon's deal. I'm gonna shut up in a minute, and let you deal with it, Brandon, but y'all had a meeting down there without me. That was a week prior to you and I going, right?
Correct.
How come y'all didn't just stop hauling at that point and try to see where the county was on this? You just hauled another, 300 loads or something in there?
So this,
Yeah,
that was their decision. I'll kind of, at least, from my knowledge. So y'all have all done road work, and I know y'all are familiar with this, is once you do the stabilization of your subgrade, you don't want to just leave it exposed. You want to put the aggregate on top. And so
I understand, but it ain't a chance of rain in 6 months.
And the fact that look where we're at right now, they've steadily been stabilizing. We haven't resolved this yet. We haven't resolved anything yet, really. You're gonna make a plan. We're gonna get over here. We're gonna look at it, go play ping pong back and forth. We're still stabilizing. So what am I gonna look up tomorrow and they are gonna be hauling rock covering up that? Texas Materials is in the room. they issued you a letter that said this was state grade material, and it's not. Is that correct? Is that a fair statement?
Who represents them? Who am I looking at?
What's your name? John, wasn't it?
Yeah. Two people.
So how are you, how is Texas Materials giving a letter out, a certification letter says, hey, we got state grade material here. And
At the time of submittal, it was state grade material.
so that goes back to the pile. So you build a pile, test that pile, you draw a circle around it, you don't add to it. When we said something about it, y'all changed the process and then started making a new pile.
I don't know if there was any process in place to paint and circle a pile that you're referring to.
Understand, but you can't have a pile that you're continually adding to and taking away from and do a certification on it. Right? You get a stockpile.
You certify that pile.
You certify that pile.
I don't know if we certify piles like that.
Currently don't. No.
And Terracon just said that your first, you said it was good. Terracon tested it. It's not any good. The levels were too high.
Well, the levels change over time. You
They
know,
change
because it comes in on a demo job, and so it can fluctuate day to day.
This opens up another thing which Derek alluded to, but I know he's gonna put together a detailed response, but there's other tests also, sulfates, and then the manufacturer's supposed to be certifying that the material meets the DMS 11,000, which is certifying the material doesn't have any contamination, like, hazardous waste or that. So if that all was certified by the manufacturer up front, but now he's saying, well, it was certified that day, but certifying that anymore. Those two certifications. Material item. Is that correct?
I can't speak to that.
Okay. Just so more work for you.
Right, so and we can look into it further and make that part of the submittal. My understanding of the DMS 11,000, it's a lot of that's based on where the material comes from. There's certain materials that are basically. Right, so that's gonna have to be part of the verification. So I did have a conversation with Andy. Andy can recall as well what the conversation was, but he had also asked me about the material being placed on site. It was clear, I guess, in my opinion, that the county understood it was being done because of the stabilization, wanting to continue the process, but it was being done at their own risk. So, I hope no one takes that as we were rejecting your comments or rejecting your suggestions or trying to just, move forward without approvals. It was more based on, the process had been started, that they felt like they needed to continue and understood, that was, the county was saying it was at their own risk, and that's what we're trying to mitigate at this point. So.
Well, how are you gonna get free from all the man-made trash? How are you gonna be free from it? How are you gonna get that all out of there? 100%. How are you gonna get it out?
You want to speak? I mean, I can.
Yes,
Provide you.
And you as an engineer, are you gonna be able to step on and say it's 100% free? Derek, I'm putting you on the spot.
I believe I'd be.
I know the answer.
I'd be glad to, because, it gets into the spec. So the spec says free from. And to me, there could be some variation in the interpretation of that. The spec also says you have to meet plasticity index and these other things, the compaction testing, whatever. And even in the spec, it says out of 5 tests, you can have one that's failing and it would still pass. So there's, to me, we're not trying to use a leeway as an opening to, hey, we can just throw a bunch of trash in there. But I feel very confident in certifying something that after all our inspectors have visually seen them grading it out, windrowing, picking it all out, documenting that, they asked, they're paying for our guys to be out there during that whole process to try to help monitor the process. I feel very confident after that process
our material needed to, that's.
I'd like to speak to one thing to that comment.
Hold on just a second. So I'm gonna put Derek a little more on the hot seat here. Blau has done us a good job. They've been our engineer for a while now but we have kind of a controversy. We've got another job, Derek, that I know you know about, that I picked up a 5-gallon bucket, half a 5-gallon bucket full of scrap iron out of the road. And the engineer says that this is not, I hadn't heard back. Have you, Brandon, on any variations of if it's testable or not, or even another deal? They went down by their own risk, buyer beware type deal. And I don't know, they're private roads, but I don't know that we're going to even accept it, just for this simple fact that I'm picking up rebar. They're big as my thumb and 18 inches, 2 foot long. This concrete stuff, it's contaminated. Contamination is contamination. If GLS doesn't write off on it, they're our engineer. Obviously, that's what we hire them for. I don't know who does y'all's testing.
Nothing engineer.
Out of Brian?
Yes.
It may be that we need to get them involved and let them do some testing on our behalf.
I believe.
It's
already been started.
It's already been done. But in the same simple fact, we've got one side of Blau saying that this is the material. And then on the other side, on this other project out 190, we're saying that they're not going to pass it. I mean,
it's all saying it's good on one job and it's not on the other.
Yeah. And
I mean, how do we?
I tell you, to me, sounds like you got some high dollar sub base. If it's as bad or worse than what we've seen out on this other job, there's no way I would go for it. No way. And we're just seeing what's on top. You can roll dirt around all you want to, but you're never going to get it all out there. No. We picked up reflectors, plastic, some wood, not much, but lots of rebar. And
there's lots of wood and there's chips. They're small, but there's a lot of wood in it.
So that's just kind of where I'm at. Wouldn't go and interrupt you, but you can proceed now.
I appreciate that.
I think,
No, I just had one comment when you said stamping 100% pure.
Yeah.
Clean. I manage some of the largest quarries in the United States, and no one's going to stamp 100%. You got deck cord and different plastics in some of the best quarries in this nation. So to have a spec that says 100% free from and stamped and guaranteed, I'd like to see anyone.
Oh, absolutely. But when I can walk behind a load and find a depth core every 2 or 3 loads is one thing.
Yeah, it's still not free from and stamped.
Exactly. But we're talking about picking up a lot of materials, what it sounds like. Hate to be the one picking it up.
I can't bend over that much.
Let me, I guess, answer your question first and then you have additional to explain. As far as, Blau's involvement, so we obviously have different roles.
I get it, and that's why I'm not calling you out on it,
And GLS has that role.
They have that role on this
project. So I'm not inspecting the other projects. I haven't seen the material that you're talking about. So I can only speak today on the material that we're talking about on this project and the process that they're going through. I would say if I had been on the other project and I saw the issue, I think the same path to resolution would be something I'd be okay with I've talked, I've learned a lot about recycled concrete too through this process. Talked to a lot of other suppliers. He's right. No supplier is going to say we're going to get all the trash out because it's just not feasible on the plant side. And so to me, it's become apparent that to become free from is going to have to be part of the process is that we go through this, I'll call it combing and removing the material on site. That's the best resolution that I'd come up with moving forward. We're going to be present to monitor that, and we would also be as the county's engineer present at the other project site to verify it the same way.
Well, Derek, could you get by with this on a state job?
Once we're done, yes. I've also we've talked to TechStop. I've also talked to material suppliers that supply a lot of material. It's not, you know, this is a long-standing debate on recycled materials.
Yeah.
The reason TxDOT wanted to start using recycled materials is they're, you know, they're a state agency and there's a environmental benefit to using recycled.
Well, I mean, we all want to, I mean, if there's a benefit to it, we all want to reuse it. I mean, there's no sense.
And so, you know, I think I also.
But the end product needs to be the same.
I think I also sent, you know, a technical advisory that came from TxDOT when they started doing that. And they use terms like reasonably free and things like that. And I feel like that's what we're trying to get to here. And we fully understand from our conversations that we're going to all agree that moving forward, reasonable free is we go out there and we don't see it, right? And we're going to dig deep. It's not going to be underneath. We're going to, you know, photo document that process. And, you know, I'm not going to certify something, definitely not at this point, now that I have a clearer understanding of the expectations. I'm not going to certify something where I know there's still material in there that, you know, we can't say it's free. So.
What you got, Brandon?
Sure. I want to talk like, hopefully this is helpful, but my intention was for you to comment on it, which is why day one, immediately after we scheduled the meeting for y'all to come look at the material, we didn't touch it because we wanted you to weigh in on what it looked like, right? After it was clear that, you know, we all agreed there was a lot of trash in that material, I immediately put to work in order to figure out how to solve that problem and started investigating recycled concrete. What I found was you can't get recycled concrete without some amount of objectionable material in it. We've checked with multiple suppliers. We've been suggested suppliers, and we've gone and, you know, verified that you can get it to certain levels of cleanliness, but it still has objectionable material. And to meet that free and clear, it will have to be picked out. To get the quality that you're requesting, there's no way to get it out without pickers. And so we set to work immediately. Day three, you know, 2 days after our inspection, GLS was witness to it. I requested before it was, you know, any additional concerns were brought up to me to have the inspector start documenting us windrowing the material, scraping it down to subbase. The contractor is here and he can confirm exactly what he's done, which we scraped it all to one side. So we would pick through layers of it rather than just picking the top. That was before any concerns about picking the material through were brought up to us. So if the material inherently has objectionable material and the only way to get rid of that is by picking through it, it seems reasonable that we would continue the process because I can't find material that doesn't have trash in it. If that makes sense. So
You can find recycled, yeah.
But I will say, I have seen, he's got crews out there.
Also, yes. So
I've seen eight or nine guys out there.
yeah, well, and we'll increase the frequency of the people, but
Okay, you said you got 8 or 9 guys. How many loads a day are you hauling?
I can't.
Are you contracted?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how many loads have been delivered.
Morning, gentlemen.
I mean, if we're hauling 75 loads a day and you got 8 people out there picking, that's not real good off.
Yes, sir. We're going to continue to pick throughout the project, not just the day that they're delivering, anything like that, because we like to get the material on site and have it there in depth so that we have all the material in aggregate on site. And then we run through it, start flipping it over, processing the rock and manipulating it is what we have. We already have to do that per TxDOT spec. So while we do that road and we'll go and blade it across, let them pick the whole length of it, go down there with the maintainer, go work something else for a little while, come back, roll it again, let them pick it. So the whole road is getting worked at one time.
And it's systematic. So
Yes, sir. It's just the same way that I used to do iron ore when I was a child. My first career in this business was root picker. I was head root picker for my father.
Yeah, I get it. That's why I'm saying, you don't think you got enough people.
Oh, well, I know.
I pick my first.
Spent, the first younger part of my career as the man on the blade, moving the material for the root pickers. And I'm sure a lot of y'all have seen iron ore. When you use iron ore, again, you're not gonna get it 100% clean. There's still gonna be those small pieces that are in there, the organic material, anything like that. And that's one of the oldest text dot specs, as far as I know, is iron ore. You know, as long as it passes that number 40 sieve and it doesn't have too much clay in it, it's good to go. And to speak on their point, you're not ever gonna get anything 100% clean. Even limestone is still gonna have organic material.
You still haven't answered my question.
Sir?
You still haven't answered my question. How many loads a day are y'all averaging?
We're probably, what is it? How many are we putting on load day? We're putting anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 tons a day on the ground. So roughly,
Yeah.
I'd say.
But it's not a
35
day,
days.
sir. Yeah, it's not every day.
No.
Just to be clear, like last week, there were 2 delivery days.
Mhm.
The week prior to that, there were 2 delivery days. And we had quantities, right?
Yeah.
But with how we're processing the rock and how we're cleaning the rock as it's being processed, it's kind of irrelevant how many, like, we want to cover the subgrade to make sure to protect what's been stabilized. But we haven't done that to depth. They've put half the material down just to protect the subgrade so we can pick through that half. Right? It's a way of continuing the process without because no matter how much rock we have to put, we're gonna have to process all of it. We're gonna have to pick through all of it.
Mhm.
No matter
We have to-
how many loads there are.
We
if
have to
that makes
manipulate
sense.
regardless too. And so that's
So
part of the process of what we're doing here.
I've spent a lot of time thinking about this and trying to create a process that is acceptable to the county and shows that we want to produce the highest grade road possible.
Are y'all asking for public maintenance?
I'm sorry?
Are you asking for public maintenance?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the current plan, yeah.
So the end result, so if you don't get there, I can tell you I won't support you for public maintenance.
I think that's generally assumed, sir.
I think you should know that.
Yeah, well, I think
Even though
that-
it's Brandon's, I'll
Sure,
just tell
but,
you where I
I
stand
mean,
on it.
if any given county doesn't like what we're producing, they're not gonna accept it, right? So my hope is that we can get to, reasonably free and clear. That's not gonna be zero. I think it's important that we're all on the same page there. I have developed a inspection process that's before the county shows up to inspect the material. So basically, we'll inspect each road individually. Any trash is found, it will be removed. Any contaminants indicate that it needs to be worked through the subgrade, we'll work through the subgrade until we pass the engineering inspection and zero material is found.
Yeah, so I would say more work is gonna be done on this material than probably has ever been done before to get it as close to that zero as possible. Just from the fact that we obviously see the county stance on this. We know that the process will be scrutinized and their goal is to have an end product that everybody can agree is met the spec.
So I want to make a comment that you said that the limestone has always got debris in it. I just disagree with that. I understand that sometimes it does every once in a while, but not on the level that what we're seeing out there that's being brought in after it's been picked at the plant. Terracon stated earlier and I don't remember exactly which point of this conversation, that it did not pass spec. Now, was that the first original material that was brought out there?
Yes, it was the first 4 samples we picked up on site.
What did it not pass?
The deleterious material
Did not pass.
did not.
So you can't pick deleterious materials out. What are we gonna do to rectify that?
Hold on, I'm sorry, let me clarify. Deleterious material plus unacceptable material exceeded the 1.5%.
Those are two separate.
Yeah, yes, our test lists them all together.
Did the other material, the clays, the geologic material, was it below the 1.5?
Yes, it averaged between about 0.5% and 1%.
Have y'all done where you get it to sleeve and press it and all the tests on that first material and it passed?
On the Proctor, we've run a Proctor. And that establishes our maximum dry unit weight. Yes, we've done. We've done it with a text dot spec. Yes.
Then you've also done the gradation.
Yeah, and we've done gradation.
Then I apologize.
So
I told you I would.
We do have, one or two sieves that are out slightly, but we have lots of samples, but the sieves, all of them fall in place. Our sieve analysis right now, we've got.
Game come up.
We're off 1% on a couple sieves.
One that was from a supplier they chose not to use. Those are 6 from Travis Point Road. The main road is much of the first one. So
it's time to read these right
Sure.
now. Tell me what's in here. Don't look at the paper. Tell me what's in here.
Look at the fires pass. 6 gradations from Travis Point. There was 2 samples. One sample was had 1 sieve out percent. Tolerance is 1 every 5. And then the last one had 2 sieves. So you add on to that, I don't know how necessarily how it worked for 6 samples, but it's a lot. And that got you to a total.
So what borderline?
We're close to here, so.
So the material is borderline rejectionable or borderline acceptable.
But are you getting GLS to test it again?
Yeah,
We're working on that. Yes, sir. We are working on
I
that.
mean, that'll have some pretty good weight.
Yeah.
It's just easier to do that.
One more question for, I was taking notes over here, sorry. You said the testing frequency is once per day, and somebody else said we're bringing in 1,500 to 2,000 tons once per day. So we're taking how many tests once per day on 2,000 tons?
We were doing 1 test per day, 1 bulk sample per day of delivery for the deleterious materials testing. We're sampling the roadway every 250 feet, left, center, and right, and combining those samples in a composite sample, and we're running sieve analysis every 250 feet on.
For gradation.
For gradation.
But you're not doing compaction yet.
No, they're not. They're not.
This is not the dip.
Once they get final grade and get compacted, we're expecting, we didn't quite know on frequency, so there was an email sent early, we followed Montgomery County frequency. And it's a left, center, right holes for depth check.
Yeah.
And we would do densities left, center, right, and at a frequency of every 250. Frankly, I think that's a little overkill. But we picked that so that there was some consistency, and also so our technicians, when they're on this job versus a different job, they have the same mentality, right?
Yeah.
So it was indicated out there, and I don't remember where that young man we was talking to, what was his name?
Which one?
When I went, there was only one guy out there.
Sims?
Is he in here?
No.
Ron Sims.
He indicated that this material was used in Montgomery County and other counties with all that trash, and they was okay with it. Is
Yeah,
that
they
true?
don't have the same objections that you do. That's correct.
I'm just
Because they
curious.
got the money to cover it up.
Yeah, because they got money, we ain't got money. so.
I would say that.
Well,
Would be
so
an accurate observation.
They're taking that material with that much wood and that much plastic in it.
That, I think the stuff that got delivered.
the initial one is dirty admittedly.
It's
I
dirty.
wouldn't say that represents what the rest of our roads are being built up. We-
I would not either.
Yeah, we've addressed that with Texas Materials because everyone looked at it and there's plastic everywhere, right? That's why we admitted, yeah, this is,
And I can't believe it's even passing test, but
well, no doubt.
it's terrible.
There's a couple of other things. We've had it additionally cleaned. So I think what's out there for the majority of the community now is not representative of that initial delivery. That's a fair assessment. I think you'd even agree with that.
What are we gonna do with that initial delivery?
I don't know, we're gonna sort that out, but, if it passes inspection, first of all, I think we just got the results back today. We haven't even had a chance to discuss what to do about that, right?
Okay.
So we wanna sit down and have a look at the test and say, hey, is this material good or not good? And then go back, if it's not good, go back to Texas Materials and say, hey, it's not good. What are you gonna do about it? So those are discussions that have already started as of this morning, right? But I don't want to jump to conclusions without conferring with everybody involved. on a test that I just got back this morning. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I haven't, I just got it.
Yes, sir. So additionally, the comments were made about the rest of the material that was more thoroughly clean, that there was still contents of objectionable material. We all agreed on that as well on Friday, and we discussed with Texas Materials about additional cleaning for the stockpiled material that's on site. So we're gonna take additional measures, right, to continue to clean the material before it shows up to the job site. We are still gonna have to pick through that material. Right, and just as a point of clarification, the reason, to my understanding, why the objectionable material was tested with the 1.5% was because prior to this, that was the generally held infield standard. That standard has changed as a result of the comments.
The interpretation has changed after
Correct.
we got the letter.
That's exactly right.
Saying that.
Yeah.
Free from.
Correct. And so everyone's had to kind of reset, to that standard, which we've agreed to do.
So, Andy, we talked about this last week and tested my memory here, but the county, has the county received anything from Texas Materials or the Manners on this material?
Received an initial submittal that was based on a stockpile certification from the bureau provider, if I remember correctly. But then we subsequently have discovered that stockpile, I think he even alluded to when he was talking about it, is constantly being added to.
The initial one is not. The new one is, yes.
No, the initial one, when we were at the site, the guy at the site said he was adding to that every day up until he started making the new stockpile. Then he was making the new stockpile, so he wasn't adding to that one. Even the initial stockpile was being added to every day. So again, we did receive something, but we're kind of back to square zero on receiving something else. That's where I understand we're at. Yes. And I think Derek is preparing that.
So the issue, I just, show you back here, what the original submittal was from Texas Materials. The issue obviously being there's no clear connection to what was delivered on site and that testing data. So that's what we're trying to do.
Does Andy have this?
Yes, that was submitted to Andy and as part of what the original submittal that we were asking for approval from.
Back originally. But that pile, by the time they were delivering, that was before the delivery date substantially. Based on what he just said and what was told us at the site, the pile that was delivered from was being added to, so that doesn't necessarily represent the material that got submitted.
Correct. So it's safe to say that we don't have.
Let's start missing something.
Test results on the material delivered to the site.
Other than what care.
Yes.
So.
Where are we going from here? We want to just kind of give them how you feel? You're gonna have a hard time getting me to where you need to be. I'll look at the end product, but you're gonna have a hard time getting me there. So.
What kind of,
They need to fill the court out, so.
what kind of extra testing expenses are we gonna pick up from GLS? I mean, it sounds like we're gonna be almost babysitting on this job, so it's not our responsibility to.
So
take those notes.
where we're at right now. And I know we're doing this workshop, but as of last week, our last meeting. Lyle is preparing a new submittal with all of this detail in it that we're basically the court discussing. I think the idea of the workshop is to give a little feedback as he's preparing that so that he kind of knows what he's going into. So he prepares in a way that will be acceptable. So as far as that, we're waiting on them to propose to us, right, what it is that they're proposing to get the material clean, how they expect it to be inspected, when they will be calling us out, how often they're going to address all that in their request to us, as far as meeting all the standards of the specification for the material, how that's going to be done, what they're proposing. And our firm will review it and either no objected or object, right, and give comments. And that's where we're at right now in the process. They're preparing that to submit to us. Once we have that in our possession, we'll compute it. But that's where we're at right now. I don't have the full proposal. He's given you guys bits and pieces of it today.
Yeah.
His final submittal to us will be more detailed.
Yeah, I think it needs to be, because if we normally go out there 3 times as a, hey, you know, it's the same stuff you've been hauling from Kasi or whatever forever, you know, that's different than going out there 3 times a week. Cause you're getting 2 times a week, cause you're getting 2 delivery loads a week, making sure that it's right. So I don't think it's our burden to bear the cost of extra monitoring and testing and stuff like that. At the end of the day, the objection or no objection is based on text dot standards, right? You either get it there or you don't. So my concern, I guess, begins when they dump it on the ground. I really don't care what they do with the facility. You dump it on the ground and you say, okay, it's ready for the road. Then we step in and say, does it meet our standards? Our standards are text dot standards.
To be clear, I think we've been clear to the developer and their team about it. It is not our responsibility, nor are we going to participate in developing the procedures. Material to meet text dot standard.
Exactly.
We are, the only thing is that those procedures that they're going to, the way they're going to do it by final processing on site is going to require a different than normal inspection protocol, and that will be part of what they submit.
That's what I'm talking about, exactly. So, yeah, the pre-process and all stuff like that, that's not really a concern of mine. The concern is when they call and say, this stuff's ready, you know, to go on the road, that's when we step in and say, okay, here's your paperwork, says it passes all the number 40 sieves and stuff like that. You're good with that. Our inspector guy's gonna go out and look at it, and it's either good or it's not. And there's not a whole lot of gray there for me.
Because of the objectionable material requirement and what's been out there, you know, they're finishing the processing of the material to standard at the
site, right, at the site. So wherever they point at it and say, that's our finished pile over there, that's where we step in and say, okay, now we're ready.
And I think they're gonna
involved in this process.
I think their plan is to put together something to telegraph to us how they're gonna want to move through that as part of their proposal.
Okay.
And I think that's an important point, because I think, you know, we're learning in this process too. I think some of the stuff y'all observed on site wasn't necessarily something we were saying, hey, we're about to put asphalt down, we're ready for you to look at the road. I'm really glad that Thomas had everybody out there the first day, because I think we're gonna end up with a lot better product, potentially in the end, but definitely what the spec calls for and what the county wants to see.
Well, you know, Derek, Lyle and you have been coming to court for a long time, so you know what we expect. And we'll leave it up to you to get there, you know, and then I'll go look for myself.
Well, y'all know where I stand.
Yeah.
And is there any consideration maybe to look at a little bit longer warranty period on this too? If it's a new technology, we normally
They just don't take it during that time frame. Several years.
But well, I mean,
I saw that
we're gonna
problem.
hold them for a year to it, but if you tell them, hey, you know, do your stuff, but this is new and maybe you want 2 years out of this versus 1, that might be something that would, I mean, if something's gonna fail, the first 2 years are probably gonna tell this tale on it. But I'm open-minded on it. I mean, if they can get it to the standards, but once again, my concern starts when they dump it on the ground and point at it and say, okay, it's ready to be tested. That's, you know, up until that, concern, but not really my circus yet until they point at it and say, this is stuff's ready to go on the ground.
Well, but the normal process is like Brandon said, you build a pile, you make an order. I want X amount of tons for this job.
Right.
Make an order.
Yeah.
Test that pile, and then you test that pile against what goes to the road.
Yeah.
You know, and so
if it's good,
with the contamination, with the contamination, you may not be able to do that. I don't know.
Absolutely.
If they're willing to sit out there and pick it clean is what this court sees fit, then maybe you got a chance. But in the end of it, it's on you, you know?
I know it's contaminated, so.
And
I'm curious to see if we get any extra testing from GLS, what it says.
I just want to make this clear, you know, GLS's initial comment on the material when they were out there inspection on other items we don't also want to see, if our inspectors see something that's problematic on site, we don't want to wait to raise it till material's been worked and in place and you're
Not in place.
final inspection. So,
Not in place.
and TJ wanted to bring it up early.
Sure. Yeah, it needs to be talked about now, but yeah. All right. What you got, Brendo?
I got one more suggestion. We're talking about road materials, but you know, we might want to look at our policy and just say no recycled materials from here's point on out.
Virgin materials on.
This is a lot of problem, a lot of headache, a lot of.
Hey, I'll give you a thumbs up on that one.
You've had 2 projects that you're having trouble with.
Both of them with the same material.
Say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to, thank you guys for all this. It's clarification. I'm not the one with most technical knowledge, so you other guys speak most. First time when I came up here, I said, it had been Pittsburgh County's working. And we have a track record of that for almost 50 years. Montgomery County, Harris County, a long time ago. And Grimes County and now Walker County. We have roads that are miles and miles long that Ace has built for us, all the way back with his dad and his grandfather. So this isn't our first rodeo. We work with crushed concrete all the time. We know exactly what it is and we like it a lot. It builds a really great road. To your suggestion, I think that's a great idea. I'd love to have a discussion at least about, you know, if we need to do an extended warranty period. I stand by the road. I've got 15-year-old roads in Montgomery County I can drive you on. That Montgomery County has had to spend $0 maintaining. 15 years old. Meadow Estates, Section 1. ASA built them. So we're very confident in what we build. And, you won't find a better road builder than ASA. But
I'll stand behind David and extend that warranty if he wants to do that.
Yes. Not asking you to do that, but thank you. I just want to, hey, we want to be a benefit here. You know, this is we're out there with a standard of our own as well. And, you know, Thomas will be the first one to tell you when we see material come to the job site that what we saw initially, we're not okay with that. But we're also trying to be reasonable. Thank you, guys.
Anybody else? All right, no executive session. If y'all got something?
I got nothing.
All right.
I do want to wish our election officials good luck and appreciate what they're doing.
All right. Yeah, Miss Rigsby, you're up. I think Carol, keep your time.
Good morning, Mr. Regan.
Morning.
Might be evening. I don't even know what to do. Getting close.
Yeah.
Grabbing it out.
11:27.
Hi, week, because I have a question. It's regarding, deposit for some of our most vulnerable citizens.
Okay.
As far as the housing. I'm sorry. I haven't been to her, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Don't have the opportunity to get it. So just kind of go back and see what the Texas State Code says when it comes to deposits. Again, I represent some of the most vulnerable citizens here in our county who didn't seem to have a voice. I didn't choose to be a voice. I stand as a voice because I know God appointed me to this task. And I'm gonna stick with the assignment. He reminds me that he's faithful to his promises. So when things like this happen, that has continued to happen, and I've stood before you all probably for the past 4 years. And I know that I'm gonna see God's word come to pass. Seniors, children are not going to be walked over. I stood here, I know, on May the 6th. And I just put it forth into the atmosphere. Something that I had said in Montgomery County in 2015. Eventually, the threads unraveled. The results came out as I said. Because I didn't say it, I knew God said it. And it's going to happen here. I said on that day, some people are gonna be sad and some are gonna be able to rejoice. Because I do believe that God looks out for his people.
This is Watson Clark. I can't talk to you. I'm sorry about that. Apologize for that. I can catch you in the hallway afterwards.
Okay. Can you say catch me in the hallway afterwards?
Yeah.
After this session?
Yeah, we can't address you while you're in public comment, but we can talk.
Okay.
I can talk to you after.
Okay, well, once again, I know that funds and things are being strategically dispersed, have been. It has been where we have been totally overlooked. And it is our prayers for the best for the citizens of Walker County, which we're some of those citizens too. Senior citizens, children. I've lost lots of family members during this past couple of years, maybe like you guys. But I do want some answers eventually. And I know that God is going to see me through as well as his people. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cleveland. All right, no questions from media, Commissioners Court. Okay, thanks. All right, we're gonna